sisters are very similar in some ways, in that they are feminists, but Marlene tends to be the more vocal of the two and the more aggressive of the two with her opinions. Not to say that they don't go head to head with their own opinions when they're alone at the dinner table, but she tends to look down upon any who don't agree with her ways and don't try and step up to the plate the way she does. So she respects, I guess, on a certain level that her sister is a feminist, but she doesn't think that she's living up to it as well as she could.
No, especially
because she's still at home and she's still raising a kid, and she doesn't have a steady income necessarily.
And politically, like, now that Margaret Thatcher is the prime minister at the time of the show, that Marlene is a huge fan of Margaret, and Joyce is pretty much she doesn't want her because she's more of a conservative kind of prime minister, and that Marlene is kind of higher middle class, I would say, and I'm pretty much the lower middle class, and she didn't really focus on my opinions and ideals. She more focused on the higher class, and that's where we have our differences.
The beginning scene, the dinner scene, all these important women throughout history, whether they really were alive at one time, that's kind of unclear, but in this play we're suspending belief they were alive at a certain time. Marlene finds different pieces of herself within each woman at the table, and some she sees more of herself in, and then some she hardly sees any at all. They're kind of used as a foil to her, but still they relate to her. So that's how the women in the beginning, the historical women, tie into all of it. With regards to the emotional aspect, I think a lot of it's relatable, because in this world, like from the 80s, even before, throughout history, basically women have had to be mothers and raise kids and do household duties. That was their job. That was their full-time job. And then later, as we gain more independence and more equality, we now have the choice whether we want to stay home, be a mom, or work a full-time job. Some people try and find a balance and try to maintain that balance, which is extremely difficult, and it will probably remain difficult for quite some time because it's nearly impossible to do one or both well. It's like you can't do most things. Like if your hands are both full, like you can't. One's already going to be like more full. So I think that it's really relatable to anyone who has ever strived for success, like personal success, and had to make sacrifices along the way. I don't know if Marlene has a lot of regrets. I think she has a few regrets. One of them probably being the emotional aspect of the kid involved. But I think she kind of hides behind a wall. She definitely has a strong facade up that she likes to hide behind.
I learned what feminism was all about, and I am more focused on finding more equality for women, and I'm taking more classes in it, and I'm realizing that it's a really hard struggle for women to become equal, and to see these women throughout time fight how they did, like my character Isabella, go by herself and explore the entire world with no one, just herself, and how Pope Joan is a woman who became a pope, and it's just amazing.
I would say come see Top Girls to see Time's Up in action, #MeToo in action. It's just so powerful, all this feminine power in one small little play. It's very impactful, and it'll hit you when you least expect it. It will absolutely just kind of dwell in your brain for a few days and be like, oh wow, never would have thought about it that way. Never would have thought about that at all. It has such a strong message and impact that, like, either you'll get it right away or you'll get it slowly but surely. You'll see it.
You'll see it when you walk out of the theater and you go back to your real life. You see the troubles that these women are going through, and you see how strong these women in this show have to be in the world or the business of a man and a man's world.
Yeah, I think if anything, the audience will gain a better understanding of what women have to go through on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. You can say that you understand, even women, I'm not just saying men who will come to this performance, women will have a better understanding of the day-to-day struggles
the
or
sacrifices of families.
Absolutely. I think it'll just broaden everyone's horizons when it comes to women in general.
And the definition of feminism as well.
And the definition of